Ukraine is bracing for another day of fighting, with Russian forces claiming to have full control of the southern city of Kherson. Invading troops are also continuing their advance on the capital city, with continuing attacks on urban areas. Live to Julia Chapman in Moscow and Simon Marks in Washington in just a moment. But first, a look at how things have unfolded on the ground.
More airstrikes unleashed in Ukraine's major cities. Another residential area has been struck by a Russian cruise missile in the city of Zhytomyr, killing 4 people, including 1 child. 10 buildings have been damaged, including a hospital. The second largest city, Kharkiv, has come under some of the heaviest bombardment. Missile attacks have targeted the city's police department. Local officials say at least 21 people have been killed and over 100 wounded. At the same time, Russia is intensifying its attack on the capital. 2 rockets have struck Kyiv's main TV tower, killing at least 5 civilians. A Holocaust memorial beside the site was also hit, drawing condemnation.
Це вже за межею людяності. Такий ракетний удар свідчить, що для багатьох людей в Росії наш Київ абсолютно чужий. Вони нічого не знають про нашу столицю, про нашу історію. Але у них є наказ стерти нашу історію, стерти нашу країну, стерти нас усіх.
Russia is also making inroads to the south. It claims to have seized the city of Kherson after a day of fierce fighting.
Российскими подразделениями вооруженных сил взят под полный контроль областной центр Херсон. Гражданская инфраструктура, объекты жизнеобеспечения населения и городской транспорт работают в повседневном режиме. Недостатков в продовольствии и товарах первой необходимости город не испытывает. Продолжаются переговоры между российским командованием, администрацией города и области по решению вопросов поддержания функционирования объектов социальной инфраструктуры.
In the meantime, a growing exodus from Ukraine. Neighboring countries to the west are bearing the brunt. The European Commission is proposing new laws to deal with the mass arrivals. If adopted, Ukrainian refugees would be granted temporary residence permits in all EU member states. Access to employment and social welfare would also be provided.
Situation there is bombing everywhere. No shops are working for buying food or something, and then even started without electricity. And then we decided to leave.
We are students and study here in Kharkiv since last year, and in another cases since 5 years. And we decided to survive because nobody guarantees our lives.
The United Nations estimates more than 500,000 people have already fled Ukraine, with the number all but certain to climb as Russia presses the attack.
And for more, Julia Chapman joins us live from Moscow. Julia, conflicting claims over that city of Kherson. Russians claiming control, but Ukrainians alleging otherwise.
That's right. We've been hearing from Russian state media quoting the Ministry of Defense saying that Kherson is in Russian control, but that has been denied by the local authorities in the city itself. If it is proven to be true, that would certainly be a significant victory for the Russians. We know that they have been making more success taking control of areas in the south of Ukraine on the Black Sea coast, where they have come up from Russian-annexed Crimea, the peninsula that it took under Russian control in 2014, but that most of the world recognizes still as being Ukrainian territory. There have been some inroads made in the south, in places like Melitopol, one city that is under Russian control, but certainly Kherson is a more significant population and would be a more meaningful victory if that is indeed confirmed. But undoubtedly, there is still conflicting information. There has been fierce fighting between Russian and Ukrainian troops there, as well as in other cities. We have seen as well the second city, Kharkiv, when paratroopers arrived from Russia this morning at around 3 a.m. local time. They have been engaged in fierce fighting with Ukrainian forces there as well. And as we have been hearing, in Kyiv too, where we are still watching closely what that column of Russian tanks and fuel trucks is doing as it moves slowly towards the capital. Certainly, the Russian forces have not made the inroads that many military analysts expected them to. They have been met with a pretty fierce resistance, but they are taking control of more areas in the south. And according to state media here, they have connected with the separatist forces coming in from the Donbass region of the east.
Julia, Russia has denied targeting civilian structures, but scenes in Kharkiv and Zhytomyr tell a very different story.
They do indeed. Of course, Russian officials have been saying time and again that they are only targeting military infrastructure. They're not hitting cities, that civilians have nothing to fear. But that is proving to not be the case. And yesterday, in fact, they even changed their line slightly, warning people in Kyiv living near objects of military infrastructure or strategic communications to leave their homes for their safety, suggesting that they are admitting now that they are directly hitting areas where civilians could indeed be affected. So certainly the claim that civilians are not at risk is no longer true. It hasn't been really from the beginning of this war. But certainly the officials are denying the figures that we are seeing coming out of Ukraine when they say that there have been a few hundred civilians already killed in this conflict.
Julia, peace talks between Moscow and Ukraine on Monday, very little result. The Kremlin says it's now ready for more talks in the coming hours. Of course, the Kremlin spokesperson saying he will not speculate. It will include conditions which include the Ukrainian troops laying down their arms and demilitarizing the country.
Yes, that's right. We are expecting possible talks later this evening. They have not yet been confirmed by the Ukrainian side. But today, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said a Russian delegation will be in place later today, ready to engage with Ukrainians. He did say that they have not named the place publicly where these talks will happen. They are expected to be also on the Ukrainian-Belarusian border, as they were on Monday. Dmitry Peskov, the spokesperson for the Kremlin, did say that he doesn't have the power of foresight. He cannot predict the outcome of these talks and wouldn't be drawn when journalists asked him what he would view as a successful outcome. But he did say that President Vladimir Putin has made clear Russia's conditions for these talks. Earlier today, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine said that Ukraine wanted Russia to stop bombing cities before any more talks can go forward. But now TASS, the Russian state media, claiming to quote a Ukrainian presidential aide, says these talks will go forward later today, but we are still waiting for formal confirmation.
Thanks for those updates. Julia Chapman in Moscow.